All right, hello everyone. Well, there's no live stream viewers yet, but hello everyone, and welcome to episode number 22 Verdicts of the Ancient Kings. We are still standard in legal, apparently, as well. Verdict of the Ancient Kings has been reprinted, and this was actually something I tried to spoil for you guys in the past couple of weeks. If you actually look in the description of our videos, it actually says Verdicts of the Ancient King in set six. So I don't know if I was allowed to do that, not allowed to do that, but I thought it would be a good play on words. Anyways, alongside me is Nico Sharp. Nico, how are you doing today?
Good. Welcome back to the next episode. I'm excited now that we have our puzzles going strong again, and it'll be fun to talk about the last puzzle and share a really crazy one this week.
Yeah, this week's puzzles, we were trying to break the system, and I actually went over to Hexahedron and asked him what number would actually break the system, and we were doing some testing, and we'll get to that puzzle a little bit later. Speaking of puzzles, let's go ahead and cover last week's puzzle, which was, well, Nico, I'll go ahead and let you take care of this one.
All right, yeah, sure. So this puzzle was created actually the same day as our episode because that was the day Earth Mother was spoiled. So I kind of just saw Earth Mother. I'm like, that's a cool card, but like, what is the earliest we can make good use of her? So the proposed solution, even though there was many different ones, was to find a way to play Titanospore on turn three at its full cost. And what I was hoping people would discover is if you got Earth Mother to start triggering early and then you played a Song of the Sun, you can make all of those temporary diligent triggers for the O1 resources pay off right away. So basically, what you wanted to do is on turn one, play a Sapphire Shard and play a Mind Call. You can do this two different ways. You can play Mind Call on turn one or Earth Mother on turn one. And then you play then you play the two Earth Mothers you target with Mind Call on turn two, along with a third Earth Mother and a Verdant Mill, because it's one cost. And then what you do is you just exhaust all three of those Earth Mothers right away with Verdant Mill, so that on turn three, when you play your third shard, which has to be wild, so you play Sapphire Shard, then Wild, then you'd play a Song of the Sun, and that would give you all six resources to play the Titanospore. A few people came up with some interesting combos like Midnight Fever, where they're playing a bunch of infusion devices, and then a Midnight Fever with maybe like a Mind Call reduced cost so that you'd have six resources on turn three. There was some Puck's Daydream combos. There is some clever use of Chill to exhaust your troops, and some people like to use Ruby, so I quickly tried to ban both Glyph of Ferocity and the Voice of the Ashrid because those two are just notorious for breaking puzzles. But anyway, a lot of great solutions. We did have, I think we had 12 submissions, and then I'm showing the winners and runners up there. Zetacross as our winner, runners up at Mostafil and Swapco.
Yeah, so expect some mail, in-game mail from me. My apologies on whether some of the codes are zeros or the letter O. It doesn't really, it looks the same when I'm scratching off codes, and sometimes you do have to, experiment with those. I just got to say a random story. Speaking of those codes, this past Friday, I had someone come over to my house. You know, I had to get some blood work done, and he took my blood work, and he like does like five or six of these blood works a day for the past 17 years. And I said, okay, well, bye, you probably won't remember me. And he looks at me, he's like, no, I'll definitely remember you. And then he points to my three hex posters as he was leaving, and he goes, because my son just started playing this game. And I was like, really? So, me from one father to another, I handed him over a couple of codes, trying to be a super great dad. So, my prize closet is a little bit thinner, but don't worry, there's still plenty of stuff for you guys, and I'll be able to ninja some stuff a little bit later. But always nice to find a fellow Hex player when you're not really expecting it.
That's awesome.
All right, well, let's go ahead and get on straight to the spoilers. A lot has been revealed in the past week. It feels like we should be getting a full set six release list sometime soon. But let's go ahead and take a look at some of the cards and just talk about talk about where we think Entertainment seems to be going in the direction. Holy Reprisal, quick action, gain 2 health for each opposing attacking troop. Then each opposing champion sacrifices an attacking troop. What do you make of this one?
Um, it's gonna be maybe great and limited as reserve tech for like draft because it's gonna really be good against Dreadling tech, and Dreadling tech seems like it'll be a pretty solid strategy in set 5 plus set 6 draft. So I don't think we're gonna see this a lot in constructed. It might be a one of or two of in a reserve, but I don't think it's gonna see any main deck play. But I could be wrong.
Well, it's important to note if we start to see like solo invulnerable troops, Holy Reprisal might be exactly the answer to that since it is sacrificing as opposed to some other form of destruction. So if you have Clash of Steel and then you Holy Reprisal, that might be a good 1-2 punch to try and remove anything that sticks to the board a bit too much.
Yeah, that is a good point. I mean, there is a lot of good removal in Diamond, but there's not any other removal I can think of that actually is a sacrifice based removal. So it might be a good replacement to all the other void effects that Diamond already has great access to.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot about the other void effects. I keep on thinking it's executive order. It's not executive order.
Something to create.
Yeah. All right. Moving along, we have Arendelle Monk, and I absolutely love this card, especially in limited. It's a solid body, 3-drop, 3/3. It is double wild threshold, so it will take a little bit more to get there. But the diligence, basically making it a 5/5 spell shield, is absolutely bonkers in terms of its strength.
Yeah, I could definitely stick to the board with a little bit of tricks in your deck, like maybe a Stinkhorn Soup. There are, it reminds me a lot of Warrior of Andronicus, which I believe was like a set 2 or set 3 card, which is another elf warrior, just because it has similar stats for cast. But yeah, the spell shield on ready is pretty awesome, and the +2/+2. So I think this will be very popular and limited, and may even see some constructed play.
Yeah. Moving along, we have Eye of Winter, which is a constant, and we are starting to see more and more constants hit the board coming out from Hex, and I really like what they're doing in developing this particular play space. It feels like the diamond favor where you have to sacrifice a constant is going to be splashing a little bit more just because you're going to see more of that focus. But when you draw a card, you gain, I believe that's a permanent resource, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah, so
permanent.
it's a 0/1 resource.
It's O1, right?
It's 01. So this is going to be absolutely crazy. A lot of people were already saying it combos with absolute power perfectly because you can get your 7 best cards and play them all on your next turn.
Yeah, it's going to be really strong. There's a lot of combo potential with this card, especially in Immortal. So I might see some Immortal play as well.
All right. Potent Puffball. When this attacks, Shroomkin you control get +2 attack this turn. This just works so well with Dreadling tech that it is absolutely scary. I'm curious to see whether or not this becomes a staple in limited or hate drafted because of Dreadlings. All of a sudden, your Dreadlings becoming 3/1s and the Potent Puffball becoming a 5/3 is absolutely scary.
Yeah, I just love the art on it. I love Shroomkin tech, so just any Shroomkin cards are fun. And with 5 and 6 in the pitcher, you can also combo this with like Wakazashi War Bunny. I think that's its name. So you can get like even additional attack on top of that, which is a nice 3 into 4 play.
All right, why don't you read Dreadsuit Omega?
Yeah, so this one, I know it's hard to read from the photos. While this is in your hand, it has cost -1 for each Dreadling you control. And when a troop you control readies, summon a Dreadling. So very combo heavy with Dread Tech. This would be a great addition to my little Dwarf Robot boat deck that I've been playing.
Mm-hmm.
And just a lot of combo potential with a lot of the new Dreadling tech that just gets a ton of Dreadlings into play early on.
All right, and if you find ways to ready your troops on your opponent's turn, we can see dreadlings on your opponent's turn. So that's something to be cautious of as well.
Oh, that is a good point. A nice way to make chump blockers on your opponent's turn, I would assume.
Yeah. All right, giant centipede. Sacrifice another troop. This gets +2/+2 this turn. Obviously strong when coupled with dreadlings as well, but also being able to sacrifice another troop always has some benefits in limited, even with Twilight Revenant not going to be as easily accessible with only one hero fall pack coming up. I don't see this coming into play in constructed at all. There's just so many other things that you can do with sacrificing a troop that giant centipede probably just doesn't fit the bill anywhere.
Yeah, I was surprised to hear some people thinking that this card is real pushed, but I just think it's decent. It comes at a high cost of sacrificing other troops to get the benefit. It doesn't have flight or any other evasion, so I just think it's decent.
Yeah. All right. Tale of Undeath. Target troop you control gets Diligence. Summon a zombie. Awesome limited card. It does cost 2, and all you need is 1 ready, and it pretty much pays for itself a 2-cost 2/2 body. And if you're able to keep it ready and on the board, then any card generation is going to be strong since you are going to be going wide in such a limited format.
What's also really cool about this is, there's a lot of zombie cards in the campaign and a lot of zombie combos with equipment. So I think this is going to be a really fun card to play in the campaign as well.
Yeah. All right. Adamanthian Cavalry, a human ranger, 5 costs, 3/3 flight. While this is valorous, it has swift strike, so most likely it's going to be a 5 cost, 4/4 flight with swift strike. And to me, it seems a little overcosted without Valorous and then properly costed with Valorous.
Yeah, I agree. What I think of is like the set 1 and set 2 cards, like the Phoenix Guard Aeronaut or something. I think was set 1 that had a socket, just a 3/2, and it's similar to that in that it has flight, and it's also human. So it seems to make sense. Yeah, it's not amazing, but it's decent.
Yeah, it's a solid body late in the game. It's probably not going to see play in constructed, but in limited, it is going to be something that you do definitely have to deal with. Moving along, we move to the Friar Tusk, a factionless 4-cost 2/3 life drain. If you are forced to throw them in your deck, then it feels like you're just filling up a space at this point.
Yeah, Friar Tuck though. Friar Tuck's pretty awesome.
Yeah, Friar Tuck is pretty awesome. Llama Herder, exhaust one or more other troops you control. This gets +1/+1 for each troop exhausted this way this turn. Diligence, summon a llama.
Gonna be a bomb. I mean, it's just a solid all-around card. Gonna really be focused and hated as early removal target. It's crazy how many great 2-drops Diamond is getting. There's one right next to him, and then the Daughter of the Poet. So I think Diamond's in a really awesome place for set 6.
Yeah. Also, if you're looking for more ways to trigger Diligence, Llama Herder gives you ways to safely exhaust your troops without having to attack. So that is another way to couple Llama Herder with the Diligence, create a zombie.
Yeah, very true. It's going to be really good. Midnight Gatherer, we can see here the Necrotic Mage, flight, 2-cost, 1/1, Diligence, choose 1, put a random resource from your deck into your hand, or transform this into a Stroke of Midnight. And you see the Stroke of Midnight right next to it that has Life Drain, Flight, and I think it's Steadfast. and it has +1/+1 for each different threshold you have. So it could be up to a 5/5 Life Train Flight Steadfast off of a 2-drop, which is crazy. And then that random resource effect is going to be so strong.
Hmm. Yeah, like I don't know how many times in limited you have a starting hand and you're like, okay, I have two resources, and that's why the two drops are just so powerful. And the Midnight Gatherer pretty much guarantees that you're gonna be drawing resources for quite a while, getting that additional card, and then we've seen Ashwood Transmuter being able to discard resources in order to turn an extra resource into maybe a viable common. I think I did that today. I discarded a resource and ended up getting a Crackling Bolt for lethal to
Nice.
the face in one of my games. So definitely strong. It's going to be highly sought after in limited, and even in a two shard deck. The fact that you're going to have this 2-drop 1/1 flight that is almost diligence, draw a resource is great.
Yeah, it's super duper strong. I mean, even if you play like Primal Essences, you get Primal Essences, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, and then coupling it with the following two cards, those coins, the Skyrios coins and Necropolis coins, you can actually start getting those particular cards and also having them use an effect, like the Skyrios coin, which is gain a Sapphire Threshold. It's a 0/1, gain a charge, but it says discard this, ready target troop you control, and draw a card. So the Midnight Gatherer, in this particular instance, if you get a Skyrios coin, draws you an actual card that is possibly not a resource and also readies a troop. You can maybe perhaps trigger diligence earlier. Maybe turn your 3/3, give it the spell shield and the +2/+2 right then and there, and block something. So that is incredibly powerful.
Yeah, it's going to see a lot of play. And those coins are common too, which is really awesome. So I like both of the coins. They have dual purpose. Yes, it's a 0/1 resource, but the bonus effect is really nice. You know, you can either ready a troop that automatically will trigger diligence, and then you also draw a card, or you make them lose 2 health, and then you draw a card, which is pretty nice as well. So it'll be interesting to see how those are played, and if they turn your deck into being able to win a turn earlier.
Yeah, if there's a wild version of the coins, being able to have the Manti that can pull back cards with costs less than one, the resources do technically cost 0, so you can pull those back as well, and it does have an effect that is almost like a quick action, which is still really strong as well.
Yeah, yeah, they're pretty awesome.
All right.
The Underworld Root Officer is like the antithesis of the Ardent Cruise or the Ardent Artificer, but this one has unblockable. And then it gets +1 attack for every Underworld troop you control and play. So I think set 6 is looking really nice for Underworld. This is, in my opinion, better than Ardent Officer, even though Ardent Officer is really hard to deal with if you don't immediately have removal.
Mm-hmm.
This guy is going to be just hard to block. So you only will be able to deal with it if you have removal. You're not going to be able to chump block it or something like that. So definitely a threat. We'll see a lot of play, and will probably be heavily drafted in both draft and played anytime someone opens it in Evo.
Yeah, I mean, when you just read it, it is at a minimum a 3-cost 3/2 unblockable when it attacks. So all the way up to 7, which is very scary. And we do still see more dual race cards coming up on the horizon. Moving along, we do have Sacred Stance. When you conscript troops you control and in your hand get +1/+1. Well, it seems like Diamond Wild is just getting stronger and stronger in terms of just constantly buffing. We saw Forever's Blossom. I know I played quite a few limited games where Forever's Blossom either won me the game or lost me the game, and the Leyline Purifier became an almost instant sideboard reserve card just because of the Diamond Wild constants that are out there. The fact that you can I can't mention some of the other conscript cards, but I know there is, I believe, a 1-cost and a 2-cost conscript card out there for at least Ardent, and this is going to be on the Ardent side as well.
Yeah, Diamond Wild is just continually looking better and better. So just another great card to add to it. It is a constant, which is important to know. At first, when I looked at it, I'm like, oh, that's a cool troop. I'm like, oh, it's constant. But in a way, it being a constant makes it even better. So we'll see how it is played. There is that 2-drop that has Diligence create a 1-drop conscript, I think. So that'll be nicely paired with this as well.
Yep. All right, moving right along. We got Cosmic Calling, quick action, mobilize. Look at the top 3 cards of your deck. Put a revealed non-resource card into your hand. It gets mobilized. Put the remaining cards into your deck. So it is pretty much a 1-cost draw 1 card, but whatever card you draw also gets mobilized, and reducing the cost of that card by 1. I love this card. It helps you go for quality. It is definitely going to see constructed play, as sometimes you just need to dig for a specific card. It being a quick action, I think may make this card actually phase out Arcane Focus if you are running Diamond Sapphire.
Yeah, so it's actually a net gain of -1 resources paid for the 2 cards. So you're essentially, if you use both mobilize triggers, you're paying -1 for the card you draw and play. So it's in many ways much better than Arcane Focus if you're able to use those mobilize triggers. Of course, that requires you to have a troop in play. But yeah, it's super good. It's kind of hard to analyze at first, but if you really take a good look at it, it is definitely huge value for what you're paying for it.
All right, moving along to, is it Asupex of Lanupa?
Asupex, yeah, maybe that's how it's pronounced. Auspex.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure, but regardless of what he is an absolute bomb. When you play an action, your troops in all zones get +1/+1. So trying to run some sort of a wild Sapphire action deck with Valors and can really, really get out of control. Your 1-cost troops can easily become 4/4s, 5/5s, and just getting very, very out of hand, as long as you can continue to draw those cards, which most likely you will be, since you do have access to all of those powerful Sapphire cards as well.
Yeah, I think someone mentioned, like, oh yeah, you think my Crocosaur can't kill your 6 defense troop? Yes, it can if you play this guy. So yeah, just it might also lead to people playing some of the 0-cost actions, maybe, some of the glyphs. We'll see.
Yep. Turretron, it is a 4-drop 2/4 Diligence. This gets +2 attack until the start of your next turn. It's going to see limited play, perhaps. I don't see this making it into constructed at all. And yeah, I don't think there's much more to say about that one.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's basically like a modified Axe bot or modified Shield bot, like a little bit better than both of them for the cost, but it's still quite bad.
All right, Eternal Bastion, 5-drop 4/6. Your charge powers cost -2 charges to use.
Yeah. So this card got errated, I think, right after it was spoiled. Oh no, that this is the errated card. Yeah. Yeah. So you don't get this until the start of your turn, but apparently this is a permanent trigger. So after your first turn that this triggers, if your Eternal Bastion stays in play, then this will apply again at your next start of your turn. So instead of it being -2, now all of a sudden it's -4, and it's a permanent modifier on your champion. So, you can turn something that might be like a 6-cost charge power quickly into a -4, or maybe even -6 cost, and then you're just using your charge power for free.
All right, I understand why Rutherford Banks is on the watch list for
yeah,
Mortal format.
Exactly.
Yeah. And a lot of people were comparing this to the Bolt Blast Zeppelin early on. The Bolt Blast Zeppelin is the 5-drop 2/5 speed, and when it attacks, it gains a charge that charge reduces the cost of your champion's charge power. But what was interesting about that was if you removed the Zeppelin, then basically reverted the cost back to the normal. The Eternal Bastion, if you don't have an immediate answer for it for 1 or 2 turns, it is going to be permanently reduced, as mentioned. So it is very, very strong, but it also opens up a window to try and actually remove it immediately if it does potentially become a problem.
Yeah, it's another great addition to the whole Eternal cycle, and we'll see a lot of play. The next card is probably one of my favorites because it opens up the potential for combo decks to actually be relevant, and it is the Dread Transport. It says, basic, put this into your hand, summon 2 Dreadlings. Now, that may seem very weak at first, but if you look at its cost and think about ways to both reduce its cost and give it speed, all of a sudden you can have a card that can create as many Dreadlings as you want in a single turn. And I actually thought of a combo that can be achieved on turn 1, if you're very lucky, with 6 cards in your hand, to win the game before your opponent even gets a turn.
Ooh, that might be a problem. If you, I'm trying to think of all the cards. I know that this card is definitely gonna make its way into your boat deck, if you can make it a 1 cost Dread Transport, and then just constantly, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it has many implications for PvP. I think it's going to be the first to actually breed a competitive level combo deck. We'll see. I could be wrong. I hope they release it without errata, but at the same time, I'm kind of concerned about it.
All right. Well, we'll see if the builders out there will break it. Um, yeah, moving right along, we have Commander Prompt, 4 cost, 3/3. Exhausted troops you control have +2 attack. Ready troops you control have +2 defense. It seems like such a strong card. While you're attacking, you're stronger. While you're blocking, you are beefier. I love this card in Unlimited. I don't know if we're going to see this card in Constructed, short of any specialized robot deck. It does not have a socket, so it's not going to quite work in all of the Dark Hearts and the socket decks that are currently out there, but it might find a niche somewhere.
Yeah. Well, one thing it works really nicely with, again, is, Dreadlings. Dreadlings work well with everything, but if your Dreadlings get +2 attack once they've exhausted, then you're going to have a crazy army of little pumped up Dreadlings, and it's good for any robot themed deck. So it could see play in Constructed.
All right. Moving along, we have the. Do you know how to say this? Arachnomacon?
Arachnomicon.
Arachnomacon. All right. So this is the card that was referenced in many other locations in lore text throughout. At the start of your turn, create a random spider and put it into your hand. While you control 8 spiders, void this. Take an additional turn after this one.
Yeah, seems pretty nice. I think it is. There's a lot of these cards now that kind of synergize with each other. So Arachnomicon, Dormant One, and Zentots something or other, and then they're constant.
The mouse.
Yeah, that's the one. So yeah, all the 3 of those cards have some nice synergies together. Super fun card. Taking an additional turn is awesome. If you combine it with, again, Dreadling Tech, it could quickly get you a additional turn, and it's value. It's a value card.
Yeah, it lets you draw an additional card, and the threat of being able to take an additional turn. Are you gonna explosion somehow? Are you gonna start, I don't know, start generating some additional dreadlings? Because dreadlings are considered spiders, and that could become a potential problem. Or even if you have the 8 spiders out in play, do you take the additional turn, or do you just enjoy the additional spiders that it's going to be putting into your hand? All strong questions.
Yeah, definitely. I don't have the answer, but it'll be interesting to see how this creates value for players in both limited and constructed.
Yeah, and I like the idea behind it where you, looking at the card, you don't know if you're going to be sacrificing it right away, and it creates important decision making on behalf of the player, whether or not getting an additional spider for free every turn is worth it, or getting that additional turn to maybe push through that extra bit of damage or try and do a little bit of catch up. Both really strong.
Yeah, I mean, if you get to the point where you actually can get eight spiders into play, you should either be able to win that turn or set up a win for you by having an additional turn. So I think if you run into this scenario, there might be some like you're suggesting, but if you run into this scenario, probably taking the additional turn at that time is better than not. But we'll see.
All right, Tale of Trauma. Target troop you control gets diligence, stun a random troop. What's your thoughts on this one?
It's super expensive for what it does, but stunning is also very strong.
Hmm.
So it's a very high utility card. I don't know if I'd main deck it in both limited, and I don't think I'd play it at all in constructed, but I think it could be very good, and we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I think that's going to be my take on it. You're having to wait and see. You might be able to get away with some sort of trigger where you can ready your troops multiple times, but I think that would be the only way we would see it in constructed. And if you're already going to go down this route, it seems like the mesmerize chance and the constants already do a better job of a similar thing, but a better job of it, since anytime you play a constant, it will go ahead and stun a troop, and you can chain those constants just a little bit more.
Yeah, that is true. We'll see. I mean, I don't want to say much more about it just because the cost is so heavy for what it does.
All right, moving along, we do have Sunspeaker of Wakuna, and it feels like we have pages and pages of spoilers
I'm
because we
sorry.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, 5 cost, 5/5 crush. When you conscript, put that troop into play, and that is immediately. If you guys notice, some of the conscripts are put it into your hand. The Sunspeaker lets you put it directly into play, and this could be a little bit of a double-edged sword. You may want to wait, but most of the time, having it hit the ground running is going to be better.
Yeah, and it's nice with like the Ruby constant that conscripts right away. So like anything that's gonna just conscript for you without even having to think about it, even the diligence diamond troop that conscripts right away. That it's pretty cool to just immediately get a troop that comes into play rather than having to pay its cost. Especially nice for any conscript that has a no value attached to it. So if you can end up conscripting something that costs like 8 or 9 and then it just gets dumped into play, that's pretty good value for you.
We'll see if someone like conscripts the triumvirate and puts it directly into play.
That
That
is the dream.
that's
We'll
the
see.
dream. All right, probed warped hair. 5 cost, no 3 cost 5/5. At the start of your turn, this gets -1/-1. Then summon a dreadling.
Yeah, it's a 3 cost 5/5. That is huge, and it's in wild, which I already saw people like, oh great, wild gets another amazing card. Thanks. People wondering why this isn't in blood. I kind of wonder the same thing a little bit because it is more like that kind of blood themed mechanic, but it's cool. I think it's because like if you read the flavor text, it's related to Shoku, and Shoku the botanist is a wild champion,
Hmm.
so that kind of makes sense. But yeah, 3 cost 5/5. If you're playing any sort of revert mechanic, it's going to be really nice to have.
Yeah, being able to get those, it feels like Emperor's Lackey that you want to find a way to revert. And Emperor's Lackey had the
Yeah.
built-in mechanic, the probed warp hair, not quite so much, but and it does seem to be on a clock, but it's always going to be a card. Like you have to worry, like, wait, did my opponent in limited actually play the 1 cost revert a troop you control, gain 3 health? Is this 2/2 probed warp hair going to actually turn into a 5/5 and kill my guy?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, Ambershire Cavalry. 6 cost 7/5 crush. When this attacks, if it is valorous, other troops you control get +2/+2 this turn.
Yeah, it's very good. It kind of goes along the theme of other big valorous troops in wild. I think there's a 5 drop from set 5 that kind of reminds me of this. But that's a huge buff. Basically, if you attack with this and it's valorous, you should win the game.
Yeah.
So it's a good game ender.
I look at it and it seems like a strong card, even without Crush. It seems like a very very strong card. The cost 6 drop 7/5 already seems properly costed, and then the 2 bonus text, the keyword Crush and the Valorous, just pushes it over the edge a little bit more. You may find it difficult to get Valor since you aren't in the standard Diamond or Ruby, which has a little bit more ways of generating Valor as for their champions, but you should be splashing those other colors in limited as well.
Yeah, as long as you're splashing it, and then there is that new Wild's Favor that also gives you the double valor now that might see more play than it was.
All right, moving along to Tale of Insight. Target troop you control gets Diligence. Draw a card. What do
One
you
cost
One cost? Yeah. What do you make of this?
seems really good. I mean, drawing cards for one, you put it on a very early game troop and start getting immediate value. So I think it's going to see a lot of play, and it's probably the best tail in terms of the immediate value it provides.
Yeah, I'm imagining like turn 1 Gust Mage, turn 2 Tale of Insight and Valor on the Gust Mage, and it's just you need to find a way to get rid of that flyer now.
Yeah, or even the new Cerulean Sky Mage guy. I can't remember his name, but what the Diligence trigger that gives him +2 attack and flight, and he's a 0/3. That'll be really good trick to play with this as well.
Yeah, moving on, we have the Flashpaw Trickster, 4 cost 4/2 quick troop, deploy, gain a charge. The fact that it's quick means that you'll be able to use it as a comeback trick, destroy, um, um, block, and destroy, or block and kill most things, and then gain a charge as well. So I see a lot of people losing a lot of precious troops to this particular guy.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be like a sacrificial lamb, I think. Some of the nice synergy I immediately thought of with him is there's that 3/1 Ruby troop that's rare, unfortunately, but when you gain a charge, I think it gets Swift Strike.
Hmm.
I think, or maybe it's when you use a charge power, but if it's when you gain a charge, then that would be great paired with the Flashpaw Trickster.
Yeah, definitely. All right, the Eldritch Shriek. 2 cost 2/1, but the key game text, Eldritch Shrieks and Eldritch Whispers in your hand have cost. Is that a -2?
-2.
Ooh.
So yeah, it makes other Eldritch Shrieks free, and then the Whisper is a 4 cost. So if you somehow draft a bunch of these Shrieks in the 4 drops, you could dump your entire hand on turn 2.
And draw more cards.
Yeah, and draw more cards to look for more of these. So it is pretty solid, and could end up being a barn burner. Like it could end up killing you if you just say, "Oh, Sapphire is weak. I'm not going to draft it. I'm not going to hate it." This card could kill you.
Yeah. It's like the freeboaters, or yeah, freeboaters now, where if one guy gets 4 freeboaters in a draft, and you're just like, I can't believe I passed him that many freeboaters. My entire board is exhausted for 5 turns.
Yeah, I almost lost to that the other day. It actually is a really good strategy, and yeah, you're right. It could, if you neglect to look at things, it can definitely bite you. And fortunately, now that you're not stuck in your own pod, you never know who you're going to face anyway.
Yeah. All right, Dingle. 2 cost transform target troop on the chain into a Dingler. So you cannot dingle a troop that is in play. But if it is on the chain, you pretty much turn it into a useless 0/1.
Yeah, it's nice. It's different. It's some people aren't very happy with it, but hey, we got Verdicts of the Ancient Kings back, like we mentioned, and there's other really great counter spells in Sapphire,
Hmm.
where I think Sapphire is in a great place to just continually counter everything that's played,
Yeah.
even as early as turn one. I mean, if you have Transmogrify, so you might be able to play a counter heavy deck if that's the type of deck you like to play.
Yeah, I was talking with some of the designers, and they had said they did not like counter magic when they first, like after it was played, it just seemed like as a first time go through in terms of the design, it was interesting to be able to say, yeah, hey, we can do this in the design space. We can make all of those other cards in your opponent's deck cost more, while at the same time you don't have to look through your opponent's deck. But it turned out to be like, hey, you're turning my cards completely useless, and this isn't fun anymore. So it's nice to see them exploring new spaces in terms of how to control. And I think one of the biggest things that was missing in Hex was the value of reversion. And with cards like Dingle, reversion is going to become a much more staple card and is really, really leveraging the digital landscape as well, since every card remembers what it was at the very beginning of the game.
Yeah, and I mean, I love revert mechanics. So like seeing things that promote reversion is going to be really interesting. Like Ovo might be an awesome champion now, and Cleanse might be a really cool card to play, or Purify. So all those cards that like before were just kind of, it's all right, might be really great now.
Yep. All right, moving along. Tale of Carnage. Target troop you control gets diligence. This gets +3 attack. And this is cumulative, right?
Yeah, it is cumulative, and any diligence trigger is cumulative.
No, well, the first time I read it, there's so many diligence. This gets +3 until the end of your next turn, right? So I was just like, wait, this doesn't have that. So
Oh,
this continues to add more and more. So you can easily run away with this. I don't know,
that
put
seems really broken if that's true. I wonder if that's just missing text. If that is true, wow, that's so much better than Incite Fury from set one or set two.
yeah.
So, gosh, I mean, if that's true, that would be super good.
Yeah, well, that's what the card says right now. We'll see if it does get changed. Yeah, people on the stream are like, wait, really? They're like, wait, that makes the card so much better. So yeah, in Tale of Carnage, be very careful if you can somehow put it on a Swift Strike troop, which Ruby does have access to. All of a sudden, you have a growing Swift Strike troop, which is very scary.
Yeah, well, Ruby needed to get a little bit more help, so might as well give them permanent +2 or 3 every time they attack. So yeah, should be pretty nice on Quash.
All right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. On Quash. All right. Moving right along. This is the last page of spoilers. Well, I guess we got one more. A Rock Slider, 3 cost, 1/4. When you gain a charge, this gets +2 attack and crush this turn. So it's a 3 drop, 3/4 with crush. Um, I don't know. I can't hate it, but I can't love it.
I think it's super good for its cost. I mean, one charge makes it a 3/4 crush. Two charges makes it a 5/4 crush for 3. And it's elemental, so of course elemental. I always think, yep, it's PVE playable as well. Just the charge generation. You can even play the champion that allows either Arden or Underworld troops when they're played to gain charges. So that is another way to get additional charges every turn. I think it's going to be really good.
Yeah. It's just gonna be. It's just until the end of turn. So saying you have a 3 drop 3/4 doesn't excite me that much.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. If you have ways to continually gain charges every turn, I mean, you pair it with something else that gives it permanent attack, like that Tails, and it's immediately better. But maybe maybe just a 3-drop blocker for 1/4 is not anything to be excited about.
All right. Moving right along, we have the Righteous Outlaw and the Scarlet Swordsman. A 2-drop, 2/1 speed. Choose one. Create a Valor and put it into your hand, or transform this into the Scarlet Swordsman. The Scarlet Swordsman says, when this attacks, it deals damage equal to its attack to target opposing troop. This deals damage equal to its attack to each opposing champion.
Yeah, I love the Scarlet Swordsman. So I'm already thinking of ways to like keep the Scarlet Swordsman's one-shot ability in play. So I think we'll talk about that a little bit in just a bit. But I really like the card. It reminds me a little bit of Highland's Black Belt.
Mm-hmm.
And it has speed, so it's either a great way to generate additional valor or get this awesome effect that could remove a troop for you the following turn. So it doesn't have a lot of health, so it'll be something pretty easy to remove, but it's definitely going to be something to worry about early on in the game.
Yeah, I love Highlands Black Belt as well. It was actually the card that took me to the top 8 in one of the invitationals in the
Oh,
limited.
nice.
Yeah. All right, moving right along, we have Pool of Wrath. At the start of your turn, conscript an or underworld troop with cost 2. The created card gets speed, and at the end of the turn, discard or sacrifice this.
Yeah, love it. Free concert troop. Gonna definitely be playing this in PvE and PvP. Yeah, don't really have much else to say about it. I think anytime I open it, I will definitely draft it and play it,
Mm-hmm.
just because I guess I'm a Johnny, so I play a card like that.
All right, moving along, we have Explosive Interlude. 5 cost, deal 5 damage to target opposing troop. Ardent Allegiance, create a Valor and put it into your hand. I loved Explosive Interlude when I played it played it during the draft. When I was playing a draft there, it's a strong card and limited. You get good value out of it. It doesn't have the reach as the hammer does. The 4 cost double ruby threshold, deal 4 damage, but you'd be surprised how many troops have 5 defense that you need to remove, and getting that additional valor into play just boosts your side of the board that much more.
Yeah, it's solid. I mean, there's it seems like there's this cycle of 5 cost ruby based direct damage spells from different sets like Mortar Strike and Volley of Arrows, and this is just a solid one. There's nothing like super special about it, but it does what it needs to do, and it speaks to Ruby. So great.
All right, moving on to the scapegoat. I'll just let you take this. What do you think?
I think it's bad. I know it's actually really good at just getting rage. It's like a crazy baby Yeti that's going to really piss people off, and it's fun to play cards that piss people off. Especially people that like to whine in chat when you're playing limited and they never talk about anything else unless they're pissed. So it's going to create some rage scenarios, and it's so cool if you can combo it with crazy triggers like prophecy, draw a card. Oh my god!
Wow, I didn't even think about that. So, like, yeah, prophecy, draw a card. So it's just constantly going back to. So if you block it, your opponent basically gets to draw a card for free. If you don't block it, yeah, then you're taking like 4, 5, 6 damage to the face.
Yeah, it's gonna be nuts. I like it.
All right. Ayotochi Cavalry, Orc Ranger, 2 cost, 2/2. While this is valorous, can't be blocked by non-valorous troops. Um, Definitely a limited bomb. If I don't know if Diamond Ruby needed more reasons to exist, but Ayotachi Cavalry is definitely going to see or be played in that archetype. It is just that strong. Um, yeah,
Yeah, it's really good. What I kind of like about what they're doing with Diamond Ruby, this sounds so stupid, but they're giving you so many good cards that you're gonna have trouble building a good deck because you're not gonna know what to include. So it's gonna like confuse people, and then like someone's gonna like forget to put Valor in their deck because they have all these strong cards, and then they'll just it won't work. So I'm not gonna draft Ruby or Diamond because I'm gonna beat all those people.
Yep. And then Tale of Compassion. Target troop you control gets diligence. Your troops get +1/+1 this turn.
That's also a very nice one, mainly because of its one cost,
Hmm.
and it's all troops in play, so it's pretty nice for if you're flooding the board.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to set 6 card, Parallel Realities. So when I visited the Hex offices today, the guys were like, "Oh, so what card are you spoiling today?" I'm like, "I'm not spoiling anything. We only got to spoil the favors." And they're like, "What? No, no, no. We can't have that." So he's like, "Here, choose a card." And he's like, "But you can't choose the legendary." And I said, "All right." So I chose Parallel Realities, and this card is one of those cards that I knew Nico would be like, "Wait, what?" So 5 cost, basic action. Target troop you control gets, when this attacks, summon a copy of this, then revert this. And what's interesting about it is when you attack with it, it summons a copy that still has when this attacks, summon a copy. And then you revert it, so it loses that ability, but you have a brand new, fresh version that is in play that when you attack with it next turn will summon another copy and then revert the original.
Yeah, it's awesome. But before I talk about it, I gotta ask you: was the legendary the blood cycle of the five threshold?
No,
No. All right.
no.
Okay. Well, we won't go further on that. But yeah, parallel realities is yeah. I got excited when Curtis sent me this. I'm like, oh, do you know what that means? So of course, like, I'm going to go back to the Scarlet Swordsman, Righteous Outlaw. You can just keep getting the Scarlet Swordsman one-shot ability going forever, and
No, no, no.
that's what I want to do.
No, you can't.
Yes, you can.
But
Yes, you can.
when you have the parallel
So
realities, it reverts it back to the righteous outlaw. It doesn't revert it back to the Scarlet Swordsman.
no, what this does, based on what I read it, so okay, you target the Scarlet Swordsman with the one-shot ability, right? And it says when this attacks, summon a copy of this, then revert this. So it's going to revert the card that's still in play that you put parallel realities on.
Oh, you're
But
right.
the copy of parallel realities is going to keep that same buff
It's going
on
to keep
it.
the Scarlet Swordsman, and then it's going to
Yeah,
revert the Scarlet
see,
Swordsman back into a righteous outlaw.
exactly. Yeah, that's the awesomeness of this card.
All right, so if you can get your Scarlet Swordsman into like a 4/3, you play parallel realities on it, then you attack with it. You you
The
get
one shot will immediately trigger.
the one shot will trigger. It will deal 4 damage to each opposing champion. It will deal 4 damage to an opposing troop.
Yep.
Then it reverts into a righteous outlaw, and
Yep.
you have a Scarlet Swordsman that's 4/3 that says when this attacks, summon a copy of this,
Yep.
then revert this.
That is the dream. I'm gonna try to live it. Got to get both rares, so pass me them.
No, I'm never passing you these 2 rares. If I'm ever in a pool with you, I'm sorry. I can't even guarantee that I'm passing them to you because I don't know who I'm sitting next to. All right, so I hope you guys are enjoying just the fun, the funness of these particular cards. Hopefully, our explanation on parallel realities helps you a little bit because I got confused for a split moment. Yeah, you summon a copy of this. So if the Scarlet Swordsman is already transformed, you summon a copy of the Scarlet Swordsman, and then it reverts. But you have 2 when this attacks triggers, right? So do they both go onto the the chain at the same time and then resolve?
Yeah, I'm almost 100% sure because Hexahedron answered a question about that with One of the other cards that was recently spoiled that was about like, will Quash buff this before the attack damage trigger, or will the rage? I think it was that wildfire elemental guy.
Mm.
So the rage triggers before the damage. So the one shot's still going to trigger before the copy and the revert.
All right, so very, very interesting there. All right, moving along, we have a double puzzle for you. There's a PvP version and a PvE version of this same puzzle. Oh yeah, you do need 4 resources. All right, so
Yeah.
okay, so PvP version. Immortal is legal. Well, yeah. Okay, anyways, sorry, getting confused on that. So you have 3 resources. Um, you have 3 resources. Universal board state. So this is for both. You have 4 artifacts in play, 3 cards in hand, 0 charges. You're in your first main phase. Opponent has no troops in play. You can play any legal champion, including set 6. No card draw, no recursion, no RNG is allowed. Do as much damage as possible. So in both of these situations, what we're going to be doing here is, I think how I'm going to have it is there's going to be a PvP version of the contest, a PvE version of the contest. So you'll be drawing prizes for both, and if you submit both, then you will be also in you can be eligible for the grand prize, which I'm going to say is a complete set of the Convocation 2015, which includes the Stormcoat, the Stormcoat, the Cloud King, Cloud Queen, alternate art, Storm Cloud, and all of the equipment and Storm of the Century. So
Oh my, yeah,
definitely,
that's awesome.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely try and figure this one out. Um, there is a lot of funness regarding this, and I actually went to Hexahedron and I talked to him. I'm like, at what point would this puzzle break? So we know that at some point the numbers get so crazy that you could actually break the game, but the game can handle this particular puzzle.
That's a super big hint too. So yeah, the damage is a lot. So if you're not getting a lot of damage, then you're not doing something right, and that's kind of saying a lot considering we're not allowing card draw, recursion, or RNG. So good luck.
Yeah, we can say this. One of them is at least over 9,000.
Yes, yes, over 9,000 is achievable.
Over 9,000 is achievable. All right. So, thanks for everyone for watching. Thanks for listening. The show went longer than normal, but hopefully, you guys on a train ride, on a car ride, going wherever you go, enjoyed us. And, well, we still don't have a release date, but hopefully, we'll get something around the corner soon.
Yep. See you guys next time, and yeah, maybe we'll all be playing Scars of War sooner than you think.